Saturday, July 24th. I know in the last video I said the next thing I was going to be doing was getting the trailer ready for the Power Stroke to pull down to the track and maybe do some racing. But something else has come up and the engine's got to come out of the Torino. I don't think it's tore up too bad. It may not be tore up at all, but what happened was, after I got the Power Stroke on the road, I decided to take some time to clean the Torino up and take it for a drive. And in the past, I noticed when I'd start it up, move it out of the garage, take it down the road, I'd hear like a slight peck in the engine. I was thinking it was hydraulic lifters because it does sit a lot more than I should let it sit. And you know what that can do to hydraulic lifters. And the last time I took it out and drove it, the noise got louder to where I wanted to do something about it. So since I was suspecting the lifters, I ended up doing a cam swap. I had an old comp cam. It was a solid lift cam. And I've got it in there, and I started it up, and you can still hear the noise. So that eliminated the lifter thing. And in the process of swapping that cam, I did have to swap out the springs because the springs for the hydraulic cam definitely would not have worked. And there was nothing funny going on in the valve train, at least up top, just under the valve covers. The sound, to me, sounds like it could possibly be a wrist pin failing, or maybe even possibly, if this engine has hardened valve seats installed, I'm not sure if it does or not. I can't remember. It's been so long since I pulled it apart. And this engine was built in 1988. So you can take that for what it's worth. But if it does have hardened valve seats, it almost sounds like something rattling around in the cylinder. But the weird thing was it seemed to get louder after it was warm, which could be connected to that. If the seat is not properly pressed into the head, maybe after some temperature gets in there, it's loose and it's pounding up and down. I don't know. But the best thing to do is pull this engine completely out, go through it. Hey, it's been together since '88. I put it in the car in '95. I bought this engine already built from some other guy a long time ago. So, yeah, you can't complain. And I got a feeling it's still healthy except for whatever is making the noise. So we're going to just try to do a repair. And actually, I had planned on pulling this engine out over the winter and cleaning this engine compartment up, straightening up some wiring and stuff. Now, while I got it out, I am going to do some cleaning and painting in the engine compartment. I'm not going to do the rearranging of the wiring just yet because I just want to get everything painted, fix the engine, whatever I have to do, and get it in there and running. And we can do some wire cleanup later. I'm wanting to hide a lot of my wiring for the MSD box and all that. And I'm undecided on how this car is going to end up for my older years. I was even playing with the idea of putting a stock engine in it and having air conditioning and stuff like that. But for now, we're going to just fix what we got so I can move on to the other stuff I plan to do. And the engine, everything is unbolted. I still need to get the hood off. And it's going to be a process just to get to my engine crane. It is buried in this mess back here. So I'm going to try to restrain myself from doing too much organizing while I drag all this stuff out of the way, but because I just want to get the engine crane out to where I can get to it. And I probably won't stick it way back in there again because anytime you need an engine hoist, sometimes it's not planned and you don't really want to have to rearrange a shed when you're doing a repair that is not planned. So off with the hood first. Out will come the engine hoist, and we'll get this thing out today and hopefully tear it down this afternoon. Let's see. I'm not wanting to latch. Even though the back's been bothering me, that did not hurt. got it out without hurting anything. I was really hoping to find a loose flywheel bolt or something goofy like that, but the noise is internal, I guess, now. After what I did last weekend with the valve train, I knew it was either the only hope left would be something loose here, and nothing was loose. So I don't think it was coming from the converter for sure. Pretty sure it's inside the engine. But yeah, this engine has been in here since 1996, and this engine compartment will get cleaned up. I would like I said, I would like to rearrange the wiring, but I'll probably just get some paint on everything and make everything clean and fix the problem. So now I got to find my engine stand and some bolts. Dirty and greasy. This engine's been leaking for a long time. So one little tip or advice or whatever, if you're going to hook an engine up like this, right here, if you don't have them, go out of your way to buy some 8th grade bolts. That one's actually a grade 5. And I didn't want to run out the hardware store over one bolt, but don't use the factory Ford bolts that look, let's see, like these right here. Sometimes Ford uses, they had those little slots in them. I guess they're supposed to be good, strong bolts, but Ford's got them in 3/8. It goes on, a lot of them are original intake bolts, which these are not. But I seen a guy pick up an engine and using those Ford bolts that he took out of his intake, and one of the bolts was hollow. So I don't mean they all are, but use 8th grade just for extra insurance. 8th grade are probably a lot stronger than they have to be, but I'd rather be too strong than not strong enough, especially when you're pulling the engine out of your car. And if one breaks, pretty much the rest will follow just from the shock of the engine dropping. So be careful when you're pulling them out. Alright, we're safe and on the stand. I'm starting to take the motor mounts off, and I just realized, good thing I am pulling it out. That motor mount was getting ready to go. That is probably vintage 1971. See, this block is supposed to be out of a police car. It's got the D2 heads, which they're D2OE A3. They're supposed to be PI heads. They've had Cobra Jet valves put in them. And this is what the guy who sold this engine to me a long time ago told me. In the block, it's a DOVEA. I need to check that. It's supposed to be the Cobra Jet block, but it came out of a 71 police car. DO is a dub block, a 70 block. I'm wondering if it's a true 4-bolt main block or if he added them. I'll have to look up that DOVEA. I always thought that the Cobra Jet was a D1, but they did make a 70 Cobra Jet. I'll have to look that up. It's Sunday morning, late Sunday morning, almost 11 actually, and I got this torn apart last night, and I'm sure this is where my noise was coming from. That goes to the number 1 cylinder, and that rod bearing was failing. It dug into the crank, and the rest of them I've seen better, but they're really not that bad. But this crank has already been turned 10 under, and after some research and discussions going on Facebook, a lot of people chimed in and said that you can take them as far as 40, and realistically, my stroker engine in the 64 Fairlane probably has more than that. It's taken down to big block Chevy size, and I forgot the exact size. I have, and so, but it will, if I can find somebody that'll do it, and I think I know who I can take it to, I can save this crank. And I kind of can, I was thinking about a stroker kit, whole reciprocating assembly. That's a good way to avoid a machine shop nowadays. If you got a decent block with a nice home job in it, you can pretty much order your whole reciprocating assembly balanced externally or internally, depending on what you want to spend. And you can get the whole thing, and if you're able to put it together yourself, you can avoid the machine shops. But I'm going to try to save this crank. I want to pretty much put it back together like I had it, except I'm going to put the aluminum heads I bought for it a long time ago on it. I don't know how they'll work out. These are D2 heads. They are supposed to be police interceptor heads. Let's see, that is D2OE-AB, and I've never really checked it, but I was told that they're PI heads. The guy who put this engine together a long time ago, he had Cobra Jet size valves in it, 1 inch 250 intake. Forgot the exhaust size. I'd have to look that up. But this is a 4-bolt main block. I guess the same as a Cobra Jet. I need to look up those codes too. He called it a Cobra Jet, but the engine came out of a 71 LTD police car a long time ago. So the 4-bolt main is kind of a hard find nowadays, and maybe worth some money. But so I'm going to put it together. I'm just going to fix it and put it together like it was, except for the heads. I'm still debating on whether to keep the solid lift cam I just recently put in it. And where is the thing? Oh, it's still in the engine. I'm debating on whether to use it or switch to the hydraulic roller, which I kind of planned on doing all that this winter anyway. So I might go ahead and order another cam and lifter kit. Try that out. See how I like it with the head combination. I'm not too sure about the heads. When I get them out and get ready to make sure everything works out, I'll explain that, because I'll be making videos on all that. Pistons, not bad. Not a lot of scoring. All of them are pretty much like that. Here's the bearing that was failing, but it did not spin, so rods are still in good shape. And I need to look up all these part numbers and find out if these are actually Cobra Jet rods. I have my doubts as if they are. And since this is a street motor, I'll keep the rods I got. And actually, what I think caused it to fail was way back in the 90s. Like I said, this engine was built in '88. I bought it a couple years after he built it, I think, and it sat on an engine stand in my garage for about 6 years, so it got dropped in the car around 95-ish. And the valve springs were installed incorrectly. So they didn't have enough installed height, which made them have, even though they were the right springs for the cam, when you have them installed too short, you get more pressure, and it turned out to be too much pressure for the cam, and it wiped the loads off the cam. Matter of fact, it did it to me twice. Therefore, I had metal in the pan, but my memory serves me correctly, and I'm pretty sure I did. I did the right thing and cleaned the block out really good, dropped the pan, cleaned it out, made sure all metal was gone. But I think that even though when you do that, still the oil pump screen will suck up some metal, and I think that just shortened the life of this engine is what happened. And this one here, evidently this one here got the most damage, and it finally just recently started making that noise I was telling you about. And it's really amazing it held together this long, and it's a good thing I tore it down when I did, because I could have totally ruined this block. Had that have gotten so bad, it'd have scrapped the crank. Now this right here, this is not my doing. This was like that before. I don't know what someone was trying to pull there. There was a lot of beating and chiseling going on there. That is not me. So hopefully that won't hurt them from turning the crank. We'll see. I don't know if they go off the center with a tool. rest or holder or what, but I don't really know how they hold it is what I'm trying to say. I'm stumbling with my words here. But I don't know if they chuck it up here, they may, I don't know, they may not like it. We'll see. If they don't like what they see and don't want to be responsible for trying to save it, I guess I'll find another crank or order a whole reciprocating assembly and maybe get a little bit more stroke out of it, get it up to 460 cubic inch or maybe more. But if I can save this crank, I'm going to put the short block together as it was, go with aluminum heads. And I guess that's it. So what I got to do today, I'm going to end this video here now, but what I have to do today, I need to get the cam out of it, knock the freeze out plugs out, and hopefully tomorrow or Tuesday after work, I will drop this cam off at a place I have in mind and see if I can get them a hot tank to block for me too. It's a lot easier to pay to have a hot tank than to clean it yourself like I did that last freshen up on the 64 Fairlight. So, I'm going to get to work. It's hot. I want to get it done before it gets really hot. And thanks for watching, and I'll keep you tuned in on how all this goes back together. And plus, yes, we will be getting the black car ready to go racing. All at once.